Episode 4 of Payday 3's Dev Diary series, Art and Animation, has just released, and as always, I'm here to give you my reaction and also my analysis on the episode. So if you are new around here and don't know how we do it, I'm going to do my reaction first to the episode, and if you want to skip that and just hear my thoughts and afterwards, you can skip to the timestamp on screen now or use the chapter markers in the playback bar in the description to just skip ahead and see what I've got to say. But if you want to watch the whole thing, we're going to get straight into it. We're talking about art and animation today, as the episode title says. I'm interested in this to see, personally, what Unreal Engine offers in terms of character animations, because I mentioned a bit in when I played it earlier that you had some more physics-based items on the coats and movement, just everything feeling a bit more realistic because there was a better game engine, so maybe that's where animation comes into it. As to art, design choices behind locations, some of the way they've mapped things out, could be interesting. It's going to be one to get a bit more of an insider depth on the character designs and map designs, I'm hoping, to get a bit more of the background information, so I'm keen to see what they've got to say here. 7 minutes, so not the longest episode, but still a decent amount of information, hopefully, fingers crossed. So let's just get into it and see what they've got to say. Here's episode 4, Art and Animation.
What an animator is doing in our game, since it's a game with human characters, we use motion capture as a base. My name is Joachim Fridlund. I'm the lead animator on Payday. The first person animations, which is the reloads on the weapon interactions, those are keyframed by hand because they really need to be super cool looking.
Wow, okay.
Third person animations, we use motion capture as a base. It saves time, and also you will make sure that you have a realistic motion as a base.
Now that is cool. Okay,
motion
good.
Capture is actually when you use your body to record animations. You need the acting skills to be good at capture performance.
Wow.
So then it's like acting skills and animation skills combined.
So, I know I obviously don't try not to pause it too much during the reaction because the whole point is for me to do the analysis later, but I actually am not too sure how much motion capture was involved for Payday 2. Because a lot of the animations of Payday 2 feel quite rigid, like they were designed maybe in a game engine, but I wouldn't put it past them to have done some motion capture. But I'm definitely getting the feeling there's more motion capture stuff in this, and it was kind of apparent from just the way some of the animations worked, but it's cool to see it in the flesh, that is exactly what they were doing to get these animations. I love that, that's brilliant.
The entire game takes place in New York, which was
I love that t-shirt.
Fantastic and liberating to work with. My name is Fredrik Larsson. I am a lead environment artist here at Starbreeze. We haven't worked with a strict map. We are not recreating faithfully New York. We are building a Payday New York. And
yeah, this is not Spider-Man 2.
Very different. It looks and feels the same, but when you start looking at the details, it's not the same.
Hyper-realistic, basically.
Local types is very important in the game to make it even more believable. My name is Marielle Karlsson, and I am a graphic designer here in Starbreeze.
Okay.
I have made around 90 logotypes and all different kinds of variation of those.
Yeah, the soda machine.
And of course, a lot of ads and other kind of small details in the game.
And advertising is usually such a huge sign of the times.
Yeah.
Like what you see in the ads.
And I don't envy that job either, because as far as I'm concerned, adverts in games, they're not things people tend to talk about a lot. You don't really hear someone go, wow, the adverts in the game are really realistic, unless it's some kind of satire thing, like when you see something like a GTA game or something. But it is one of those important things that adds to kind of like the feel of it and makes everything feel a bit more grounded and realistic if you have adverts that are like a sign of the times. It's a really good point, and it's nice that they're drawing attention to that, because I don't feel like people will be talking about that very much uniquely separate to just playing the game.
So much about the world right now. Yeah, it's a great way to just show you what world are we in.
We have civilian animations in different scenarios that needs to fit within a living city of New York. Someone might be calling for a cab, or someone might take out money from an ATM, and all of those things we try to bring life to this New York environment.
So everything was motion captured
on thinking about the civilians as extras in a movie. They can't be stealing the scene. They need to be to support like the narrative and not be too eye-catching.
Yeah, working with the art gallery was super fun. It's a pretty, like, just technically art-wise, it's a pretty hard thing to build because usually the galleries are pretty barren, and making an empty room look good in a game is super hard. Usually you use the dirt, the grit, and you put crap everywhere to make it look good. But on
there's
the
a
other
lot
hand,
going on.
we really got to experiment with like taking the art and pushing it to spinning on the artist's motivation behind the painting.
I did a logotype and also exhibition posters.
Well, I mean, essentially all graphical design, but you were put in the place as essentially like this was ordered from the owners of the art gallery.
You should really feel this unpleasant owner in this art gallery.
You did a super good job with it as well, because I feel like this logo, it's just in between pretentious art dealer that doesn't really know art and annoying tech bro wannabe. One of the coolest things that I feel we've been working on is the micro destructions and the sort of dynamic environments.
Oh wow, that glass looks
things
great.
react
Yeah.
when you shoot them. I mean, it's pretty minor things like pots breaking, bowls of fruit just toppling over and stuff flying everywhere.
Woo!
But like when you put these elements everywhere, it brings a lot of life and just chaos to any firefight. And it's like just having the car alarms and things shattering and the papers flying from the printer when you shoot. It turns a mediocre firefight into a spectacular one.
And that's what we want in Payday. We want to have a hyper-realism, so it looks realistic but a little bit more like a Hollywood. So like if we're doing a death animation, we want it to look like Hollywood. So if you're blasted by a grenade, we want that wah in the air, even though that would not be realistic.
I wonder how many takes for that they had to do. There's a lot of them here. Wow.
We put a lot of work into the environment. So before you shoot it up, just stop for a moment and breathe it in, please.
Exactly.
Enjoy our work, please.
It's a lot of small details there, and I think that you should have fun to walk around and see everything we have made.
Yeah. It is made to be shot though, so like don't let it stop you from actually shooting everything and everyone.
For the future, what we try to build is a good base with animation systems, so they are future-proof. So then if we add a new weapon or a new character, it's going to be easy to add that.
Okay.
I'm feeling happy about what we have achieved, so a big shout out to the rest of the team.
We should really keep in mind the Payday 2 has had a journey for 10 years now, and every time you're in there building stuff, you kind of drum up these plans and you have to kind of pace yourself and remember that this is the start of the next journey. So I mean, there's a million things you want to build, but just remember the Payday legacy, and this is the start of a new journey.
And it looks good while we're doing it. Some of the art and animation is brilliant, yeah.
Stuff though. I mean, I'm not sure the Easter egg was ever approved.
But as I said before, it's a team.
Apparently most rats in New York actually have diabetes. Thank you, New York, for being forgiving.
Some of the outtakes on these are wild, man. They're very, very strange, honestly. It's why I'm beginning to wonder if the Houston thing was even, was that actually Houston being teased, or was it just them screwing around? I'm actually beginning to wonder now. I don't know. But that is the fourth Payday 3 dev diary. So we're going to cut back in right here. Done that nice and calmly for the Payday 3 viewers who don't want to see the reaction. That was a good episode. I feel like that one's going to be more about the people who want to know the details behind it. There's not exactly anything super new about playing the game that's going to be fresh to people there, but I think it's offered a very good insight into the design mechanics and things going on behind the scenes. And as I kind of said during the episode, I really like that they're giving a bit of attention to things that you may not really notice or pay much heed to in the middle of playing a game, because we know Payday 3 is going to feel much more high-tech. It's on a new engine. It's going to feel much more modernized. There's going to be a lot more things going on visually and just kind of gameplay-wise, mechanic-wise. So you're going to have things slipping through the cracks that you're not going to see, that you're not going to notice, and you're not going to pay attention to. And I like that they put into an effort saying that, yeah, one of the people working here spent hours and hours and hours making a whole bunch of different adverts just to put around in maps. Those little attention to detail things are things that people don't pick up on too much, but it's nice to know that a lot of thought has gone into them. So even if you don't consider them much in your gameplay, thought has really gone into how things work in the background environments and not just in the forefront as to what actually works and what doesn't. I think it's really nice when you see that extra attention to detail, and I like that they've paid attention to it here and called it out and said, you know what? Even those people working on really cool guns and really cool enemies and really cool heists, look at the people who've done the graphic design in the background. I mean, graphic design really is their passion in this case. So I like that. I really do. I also love that we're getting different people every episode. We've kind of already got that gist already, but I really love that every different episode is bringing a different person onto the team or different people onto the team to talk about different things in Payday 3, to talk about their specific fields. I like that it's not all just Almir answering for them, which, don't get me wrong, I'll get as much Almir content as we can have, but I love that we're getting different people in the studio talking. I think that's a fabulous thing, and you'll be getting to get an idea of more of people working behind the scenes. In the past, when Starbreeze have been operating, you've seen people pop up here and there. Almir's prepared, Andreas, other people have popped up here and there, but now more than ever, we're seeing a lot of people from the studio talking about what they do behind the scenes, and I really like that. So just from like a business standpoint, or just like from a team building standpoint, I suppose is a better description, seeing that I also love. And just one more thing based on the art is the look of the art gallery, and I'm glad that they used that map in particular to draw you in and put attention to detail on that, because the one thing that I realised playing that gallery compared to Payday 2's was there was so much more going on. Payday 2's art gallery is a fine heist, don't get me wrong, there's nothing really wrong with it, but it's just a whole bunch of paintings on different walls. That's it. There's not really anything that varied in the art gallery, and I get it, it's an art gallery, so you could just have paintings and it would still fit the description, but it didn't feel that adventurous. And granted, it was part of a heist that released at launch in Payday 2 in 2013, so things weren't quite as advanced then. There wasn't that much attention to detail going to games 10 years ago as there is now for a lot of titles, but it's really cool to see you've got all these different art fixtures, different types of art, different themes, different exhibition rooms, and like they're saying, it's not just huge empty rooms with a few bits of art and artifacts in. It's actually designed so that everything's got something cool to look at. And that's another thing as to why, you know, there's only 8 heists, but every heist is going to feel very visually unique, very gameplay unique, and I like that, because you don't want to be playing 8 bland-ass heists that haven't really got much going on to them, because you'll get bored of the game really quickly. You want a game that's not just gameplay-wise stimulating, but also visually stimulating, auditory stimulating. I mean, we're going to get to music in the 8th episode, I think, narrative and sounds. You want all these different elements to play together and overlap each other so that you're lured in and want to play a lot more of the game. You're hooked from every different element, so I like that we're getting that visual thing. But animation is the thing that's really hooked me on this, and just seeing them doing the motion capture, also showing them keyframing the animations of reloads, moving the thumbs, that I really like. Because as I said, again, in the reaction a little bit, I'm not sure how much went into mocap for Payday 2. If you were to tell me that there wasn't a single bit of mocap in Payday 2, I genuinely would not be surprised, because a lot of the movements do feel very stiff. When heisters are moving in casing mode, it's kind of like they're almost waddling. There's nothing that feels super realistic in that sense. Maybe some things like some groundwork police movement when they're crouching with guns could have been animated with motion capture, but I don't know for sure. Just seeing a lot of the takes of just even grenade explosions, I think is really, really cool. I love that there's some real effort going into it. And I mean, it was pretty obvious to see from the footage that there wasn't exactly a massive motion capture studio in Starbreeze, so I love that despite them not having one of these big grand motion capture halls, they're still making it work. They're still putting the effort in. They're still getting all these different mocap animations, and I like that it's going to apply in all different aspects of the game. The cops, the heisters, all the kind of human elements are going to feel human, which I really like. The only thing that makes me slightly sad is they were kind of noting that they've done a lot of the animations to future-proof it for when future characters, etc. are added, which is good from a design perspective, but am I the only one who'd kind of be interested to see new characters maybe have unique weapon animations? You know, if, for example, they added Sydney to the game at a later point, assuming she's not one of the 2 that's in at the start of the game, she probably won't be, but if she gets added, she's more of a punk rock person. What if she reloads her gun in a different way? What if even Chains, at base in the game, is quite brutish with his reloads as opposed to Hoxton, who's a bit more kind of like a finesse, kind of like a calm reload? That would be interesting to see, maybe some more unique ones like that. Maybe they exist. It could be that they've done a whole bunch of different types of animations and just didn't quite say that there, but I'm just interested by that personally. But future-proofing it for other content is by and large a very good thing, because it again means it's easy to develop content for later down the line and you're not waiting longer for updates, so I love that. Beyond that, as I said, just attention to detail, just the glass shattering, some of the objects breaking, that kind of thing. You gotta bear in mind, it's been about a month since I played Payday 3 now, so some things are gonna start to leave my mind as things I remember and don't remember, and even things I didn't pay heed to, like the adverts, but the glass shattering, I don't remember that looking so good. It might be that my brain just didn't take it in, but some of the like kind of particle effects and stuff do look really cool. It's again a very modernized game, and Unreal Engine has given them a lot of capability. And I gotta say, considering this is on Unreal Engine 4, anyone who's played Fortnite, you know how much the engine looked better when they went from Unreal Engine 4 to 5 when Chapter 4 of Fortnite started off. I am so excited purely from a futuristic standpoint to see what Unreal Engine 5 can do. I wonder how much they'll actually change and upgrade, but I am keen to see what could happen with it. But overall, it's everything in episode 4. I don't think there's too much to super gritty analyze in this one because, as I said, I think this is more of an attention to detail episode. It's giving pay and attention to the people who often don't get that consideration. I think animations, like real animations, get talked about a bit, but beyond that, especially art design things, adverts in backgrounds, and some of the key choices between where things are placed and how things work, doesn't always get the attention it deserves, I feel. So I'm very glad that they've done that and done it a little bit earlier on with Payday 3. I really appreciate that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up this video talking about Dev Diary number 4. So thank you all very, very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, as always, make sure you drop a like on the video to let me know, and subscribe if you're new to stay in touch with all future Payday 3 and also our bit of Payday 2 still news for all platforms. Don't forget, this Saturday at 7 PM UK time, BST, I'm going to be dropping my interview with Chains, Hoxton and Wolf. All three of their voice actors, Damien Poitier, Pete Gold and Nicholas Berglund, all sat down and chatted with me about their roles in Payday 3 and a whole heap of other stuff, and that interview comes out this Saturday, so please do get excited and hang out for that, because it's going to be a big one. It's one of the biggest things I've ever done, and I'm very, very happy with how the finished product is beginning to look. Still editing it, and it's taking a while, so bear with me, but it will be up this Saturday. I'm very, very excited about that. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave it there, so thank you all very much for watching. I will see you all on Saturday with that video. Until then, look after yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you all soon.